disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Alright, this is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena. A special Thanksgiving edition. By the way, Thanksgiving, we already had it here in Canada. It was like a month ago, some shit like that. So, yeah, we're ahead of the curve. Alright, got the music. Guys, I want to welcome you to the show. I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Ricardo Martinez, TFM, Andres Hernandez. Who else do we have? Felipe Percha, Jackson Morrison. Who else? Capuni, Chris K, who says no Thanksgiving turkey for you guys. Well, yeah, we live in Canada. That's the thing, man. Iceman says shoot, and Laggett is complaining. He says, "Come on, it's 11:52." Yeah, sorry about that. We apologize to all of our listeners in the UK and Europe. But yeah, hopefully we get some phone calls. The phone lines are open. People call in. Let us know who you think is a hype job. That word is often thrown around a lot. This guy's a hype job. This guy isn't a hype job. This guy has it easy. You guys let us know what you think. Who is the biggest hype job in boxing? Actually, that's what I should have. I'm going to change the title of this video. Tell us who you think is boxing's, and that's getting too long, biggest hype job. Who is the biggest hype? You let me know. We're going to get to the bottom of this, guys. Trust me, we will. Also, I think we have Mr. BDA on the line. Mr. BDA, are you there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, welcome to the show.
Tell me you can hear me. All right.
I'm pretty sure you don't like the title of this video. Pretty sure you disagree with me hosting a stream and asking this question, but I don't know. I think it's a question that we should ask. What do you think?
Well, you know, that the word hype job gets thrown around, just like the word bomb, tomato can, overrated, underrated. But it is true that there are people out there that are overhyped. Now, the big question that I always ask is, overrated by whom? Overhyped by whom? Because, not for nothing, man, but after Canelo beat Caleb Plant, I thought he looked shaky in there. Mm-hmm. Like he sort of hit his limit a little bit in terms of fighting young fighters in their prime at a higher weight class. But other people disagreed. Some people, for them, it was, hey, now he can move up to cruiserweight. So to me, that faction of people are overhyping Canelo, just like people were overhyping Golovkin when, after he beat Lemieux, some people were saying, wow, he can move up to light heavyweight and beat Kovalev, which he probably could have, but I don't know if he could have beaten some of the other fellas out there. So, you know, it all depends on who we're talking about is overhyping a fighter. Because it's not just, you know, it's not all Canelo.
It's not just the media, though. But it's not just the media who overhypes a fighter. Yeah. Well, some could say that it's casual boxing fans that do the hyping because they don't know any better, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they see a boxer have like two good wins, and all of a sudden, the euphoria kicks in, and oh, this guy's, like he's one of the greatest boxers I've ever seen. Nobody can stop him. Nobody will stop him. And I get the feeling that this happens with a few boxers, such as Spence, Canelo. But see, the thing with Canelo, in his weight division, there's really nobody that can really challenge him other than Golovkin. But now Golovkin's too old, so is he a hype job or is he just in a division where there's really no competition? This is what I want to, the question I want answered. But hold on.
Well, not for nothing.
Yeah. We have a phone call. Let's take the phone call.
Go ahead.
386. You're on the air. 386.
Yeah, what's up, fellas? Yeah, I want to say, wait, you said Canelo's a cruiserweight now. What do you mean his division is not 160? So I don't know what you're talking about, how, like, there's nobody in his division to fight him. I mean, Canelo, I thought he was a 168-pounder, so how is he going to fight Triple G?
How tall is the guy?
What do you mean, how tall is the guy?
How tall is the guy?
How tall is Mike Tyson?
He's 5'10" and a half?
Yeah. How tall is Canelo? Like 5'8"? They're pretty close. What's Triple G?
Really
5'9", 5'10"? Well, we're not going by height. We go by weight. Weight class?
No, we don't go by weight.
I mean, you know this, dude. No. Come on.
We go by dimensions. The width of the shoulder.
How tall is Terence Crawford?
What about Terence Crawford?
Bucho?
What about Terence Crawford?
Yeah, he looks... Actually, him and Spence both look taller than Mike Tyson.
Well, I disagree with that, though.
Well, Spence is 5'11", right?
Yeah.
And I want to say one thing. I don't think Spence... I think these guys are all overrated. I think,
no, wait, Spence
honestly,
is 5'9".
Spence
is not 5'11". But even if he was 5'11", I never said that we should only look at the height of a boxer to determine in which division he belongs in.
Okay, I thought
you gotta look at obviously bone density.
When you said how tall is Canelo, I thought you were implying that height had something to do with.
Well, I mean, name me another
division.
Name me another cruiserweight that's 5'8". What was that French guy? Mormac?
I don't know all their weights right off the top of my head. I probably could. I mean, but the thing is, Canelo is not a cruiserweight. He just unified. We don't know what. I mean, we don't know what Canelo's prime weight is. It looks like his prime weight is 168, right? That's the division he just unified. But he's also he went to 175 and he's won a title there. And the thing that really makes Canelo a hype job is, so when he did go to 175, he beat Sergey Kovalev, right? And usually when you go up and you beat a champion, you always give the champion the benefit of getting a rematch. Why didn't Kovalev get a rematch to fight Canelo? You know, that just shows how, I don't like to say boxing is fixed, but it's almost come to these competitive sparring matches, and that's how you know it is. Because, like, why didn't Kovalev get a rematch?
Yeah, I know, it happens. I mean, why didn't Jacobs get a rematch with Golovkin? You know what I mean? And especially, why would Kovalev... why would Kovalev
get... Jacobs the champion?
Why would Kovalev...
Jacobs the champion?
No, yeah, he had a belt, I believe, no? Was it a unification? Oh, no, that's the Canelo
he had a belt versus Canelo. Not against Golovkin. Golovkin had, a majority of the belts, which should really make you. And I also think if you have 3 of the 4 belts, because it's so, it's such a anomaly to have all 4 belts, you should be recognized as undisputed. Well, okay, in my opinion.
We're all over the place. So, I mean, I know you were being sarcastic here talking about Canelo. He doesn't belong in the cruiserweight division, obviously. And when I said that, his own weight division. I mean, I'm talking about 168. I mean, I think we can agree that that's more or less his weight division, that or even 160.
Yeah,
do you disagree with that?
I think we agree on that.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
to say like Or I forget where we were going at. But that's why I did want to say, without the juice and stuff, and without, like, allegedly, well, actually, no, he's been caught. He is a steroid cheat, Canelo. Without being able to pump his muscles up that much, he would still be at 160. Remember, he was telling everybody he couldn't fight Triple G because he was too small. And he was like 27 years old. Like, you don't, from 27 to 31, you don't usually put on, what's the cruiserweight division, 190? You usually don't put on, 36 pounds?
I don't get what you're saying. At 27,
like,
what do you mean?
Okay, so he went from 154 to 190 from age 27 to 31. Most people don't put on 34 pounds, especially of pure muscle, from age 27 to age 31. Isn't that pretty rare?
Yeah, well, that's rare. I mean, we saw Roy Jones do it at some point. He put on like 25 pounds. It's rare, but we haven't seen what Canelo's going to be looking like if he fights his African cruiserweight. So we don't know yet what's...
But do you think it's going to be an actual fight? Because, he's just going up there to get one of those Rocky Fielding fights. He'll probably stop the guy. It's a bullshit fight. I mean, I don't even think we should take that serious. We need Canelo to fight. So to make Canelo not a hype job, he's got to fight Benavidez, and then he's got to fight Bivol, and he's got to fight Beterbiev. Win or lose, if he fights all three of those guys, he will have redeemed himself in my eyes, and I think the majority of boxing fans. I mean, those are just the three guys. If he fights, he could be a great. But he, like, you got to think, Gucho, he freaking you could say he lost to Triple G twice when Triple G was really close to 40. So how good does that make Triple G?
He's really good. That's what I'm saying. Absolutely, man. Well, that's what I've been saying. Golovkin is a great boxer.
No, yeah, I know you're like neutral.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. I'm not these people who are gonna talk shit about Golovkin. He was a great boxer, and he beat Canelo the first time. The second fight, I think it could have gone either way. But if you give
close,
he could have. Let's say he won both fights. What does that tell you about Golovkin? And he was what, 35, 36 when he fought Canelo. So he's a great boxer.
He's 36. Yeah, around those ages. And I wanted to say something else about Crawford too, because you got to think. I forget who brought this point up. It might have been Precise or somebody. But so Keith Thurman fought a prime Sean Porter, and did basically. I think he actually won more rounds than Crawford did. Even though Crawford was kind of running, I thought Crawford was kind of running away with the second half of the fight. But and Errol Spence, I actually think that was a really close fight. But I thought Spence actually hurt Porter way more than Crawford did. And so Crawford at best did marginally better than Thurman and Spence, and those are not all-time great welterweights.
Crawford stopped Sean Porter, though. What do you have to say about that?
But that's true. But Bucha, I'm talking about winning rounds, and we know Porter was retired, and that was a bullshit stoppage. I mean, because they wanted Crawford to be able to say he stopped Sean Porter. So even if he did he really look way more hurt than he was against Spence when he got dropped in the 11th round?
Yeah, he did. Okay, this is where I disagree. I do think that Sean Porter looked more hurt against Spence. Sorry, Sean Porter looked more hurt against Crawford, for sure. I mean, look the way he went down twice in the same round. When he went down against Spence, I know, but
did you see his eyes go back against Spence when Spence hit him with that left and his eyes roll back? I think Crawford just caught him down again. Crawford is a really good counter punch. I'll give him that.
All right. So, I get your point. I get anything else? Okay, so who do you think is going to win, Spence or Crawford?
I think it's a good fight. I think Spence has the style to beat him, to be honest. If he pumps that jab in his feet, they're both really good fighters. I just don't want to say either of them is neither of them are Manny Pacquiao. Neither of them are even close to being like a Floyd Mayweather type, because I really don't even think Floyd was that good. But I just think I don't know if we're going to get an all-time great out of these welterweights. I think I don't know if you agree with me on that, but I think they've been kind of overhyped. I mean, Manny Pacquiao has been whipping on these boys, and he's like 40 years old. So but I think Spence would edge Crawford out in a decision if he sticks to the jab and uses his body and his body mechanics more so.
All right, well, we'll see if that fight even happens. But Jackson, thanks for calling.
Yeah,
if you want to jump in or anything, send me a message. All right, take care.
Okay, all right.
Oops, sorry, Jackson. All right, let's take another phone call. 347, you're on the air, 347.
Yo, you hear me?
What's up? MMA, what's up, man?
Yeah, what's up? What's up, Bucho? Like Jackson was saying, if Canelo didn't have all of these PDs and stuff like that, would he still be the same fighter that he is today if he didn't have all this A-side stuff, all these, stipulations? Would he be, as good as he is right now? I mean, listen, bro. I think Canelo is very overrated. I think a lot of people know Canelo is very overrated. I mean, he's had very close fights, or fights some people think he lost, but the judges had it wide in his name. I mean, and he also is a known drug cheat before too. I think he's cherry picked his opponents to some extent. So I don't think he really is a legendary fighter, as people say he is. But Canelo's a great fighter, though. He definitely has skills. I'm not going to knock him on the skills. He does.
I'm confused now. What are you saying, man? So could he have beaten, let's say, Caleb Plant or without any PEDs? Or do you think that the PEDs were needed to beat?
Well, that's why I said he's cherry-picking his opponents to some extent, because he definitely could beat Caleb Plant to if he didn't have PEDs, but we don't know because he is on PEDs. We obviously know he is on PEDs. I mean, we'll have to find out and see, but he's still on PEDs, so we don't know how he would be when he's not on PEDs. We don't know how he would be if he's not.
I get it. Felipe, like I think Felipe wants to talk to you. Felipe, are you there?
Yeah. So how would you know how do you know if Caleb Plant is on PEDs?
I mean,
by that standard, you don't know if anyone is, right?
Whoa. He's never tested. He's never tested positive before, and his
he's part of the snack program. Come on.
So he's never tested positive, and his physique has always looked the same. So I mean, bro, what are you talking about? Canelo has tested positive in the past, and his physique.
He's part of the snack program. He has a back acne. Come on, man.
Physique is not natural, bro.
Let's get serious for a second, right?
And how come Canelo moving up in weight so much is not affecting him? Like, come on, we already know he's on PD. Just admit it, you Canelo fanboy. Just admit it. Like, come on, bro.
Look, first of all, I'm not really like against the PD thing. Like, he might be on PDs. I don't really care, right? But at the same time, Caleb Plant is with Snack, who has a history of PED usage. Victor Conte and all that.
All I want in boxing is fair fights. That's all. I just want fair, competitive fights.
There weren't even any A-side stipulations in that fight, though.
Yes, he was anyway. But listen, if it was a fair fight, I just want to see fair fights. That's all. Like can you tell by Canelo's physique that he's on PEDs, Felipe? Just be honest with me. Like
his physique, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not a doctor.
You don't know? You don't know, bro? He obviously is on PEDs.
I'm not a doctor.
Anyway, which I want to say, whoa, Felipe, you're not gonna take the shine. I'm talking right now. But anyway, I think Spence and Crawford are overrated too, and I'm a fan of Crawford, but their skills are overrated. I think they are both beatable. And I don't think their skills are up to par as what people say they are. Also, Crawford's resume is really subpar. He did have a good win against Sean Porter and Coastal. Those are very good wins in my eyes, and I think, he's starting to prove that he is what he says he is. But this was a good step up for Crawford. I think there's a lot of overrated fighters in boxing. Like Andrade, he's overrated. People call him the boogeyman, but who has he fought? I mean,
who isn't overrated? Who isn't overrated? Who isn't overrated?
Yeah.
Who isn't overrated?
Who I said was overrated?
No, who is not overrated? Who is not overrated? That's a top 10 pound for pound. Who's that?
I would say, I would say Lomachenko's not overrated. I would say Ayoka's not overrated. I would say Estrada, Chocolatito's not overrated. I would say Teofimo's not overrated. Because Teofimo has proved, like, I know a lot of these guys in lightweight division, other than Loma, say they're the best, but they never proved it. Teofimo has proved it, and I'm going to give him his props. As much as you guys don't like him, I'm going to give him his props because he actually proved that he is one of the best. So I think Teofimo is not a hype job, but I do think his fans do hype him up a little bit, but, he did prove it. So, I mean, are you really going to fault them?
All right, MMA champ. One last question. Somebody in the chat is asking, I forgot, who is underrated?
Who is underrated? Who is underrated? I think Usyk is underrated still.
I agree.
Virgil Ortiz. Let's see. Any fighters?
Yeah, but Virgil
underrated?
Ortiz. Well, no, I don't think he's underrated.
He's still a prospect.
Yeah, he's a prospect. We don't know. Like, it's
He's
legit.
more of a contender now, actually. He's more of a contender now. But still.
Anyways, MMA. I'm gonna move on. MMA. I'm gonna move on. If you wanna jump in, send me a message. Send me a message on Discord. All right. Take care. All right. Let's take another phone call. Oh, somebody hung up. 931. You're on the air. 931. Yo. You're on the air.
Yes, I'm on the air. This is Forerunner Vladimir, mate.
Oh, what's up, man? Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, basically, there's a long list of overrated fighters in the world. I wouldn't necessarily drop it down to those four. I mean, Canelo likes doing PEDs and paying off fights. I mean, you have Andrade, who's just not fighting well enough opposition to be a world champion. Fighting Quigley. I mean, who the fuck has heard of Quigley outside of fucking Europe? I mean, there's a long list here. You even have Mr. Like all the madness, like Teofimo Lopez. I wouldn't necessarily say he's overrated. It's just, in my opinion, he hasn't been tested. He just hasn't been tested. He has one fight with Loma. Anybody can have one fight with somebody and win that fight if properly coordinated. What do you think?
I think as far as resumes goes, I think Tyson Fury is a little overrated, to be honest. Because I see a lot of casuals putting him like top 5 pound for pound, when the only people he's beaten is like a 40-year-old Klitschko, right? And Deontay Wilder, whose resume is about as like thin as you can get for a heavyweight champion. So, like, I think he has skills, he's good, but like top 5 pound for pound, a lot of people have him top 5, and I just think a lot of people overrate him, man, especially a lot of casuals.
Well, Tyson Fury is an exceptional good fighter. It's just he made a comment. What was his name? Steve Cunningham, when he said, "I came to America to smash cruiserweights." You know, that's actually a pretty good point. That kind of reminds me of when he fought Cunningham. But I believe, like, earlier in his career, before he fought Klitschko, he honestly didn't do that much to
Chisora
earn that on. He didn't do that much to earn that title shot. Yeah, he didn't do that much to earn the title shot, but he ended up he ended up beating Klitschko. So, but he also had a problem with depression, anxiety, and then all of a sudden dealing with all the drugs and stuff will fuck you up double time. And then he almost drove his own self off the damn road, for crying out loud. And it took him 3 years to get back in the ring.
Yeah,
you have to understand that man has suffered more than he suffered like Vinny Pazienza suffered after he broke his fucking neck in the late 80s. So, you can't really say that Tyson Fury is a big hype job, especially when he's done a lot of work to get where he's at right now.
Well,
I wouldn't say he's a hype job exactly. I just don't really like throwing that term around, but I do think he's overrated by fans.
I mean, let's look at his record. I mean, sure. I mean, his story is inspiring and all that, whatever. But inside the ring, he beat Klitschko in 2015 or 2016? I don't remember. It was a long time ago. And then after that, I mean, he disappears for whatever reason. Comes back, has like 2 or 3 tune-ups against I don't know who the fuck, and then beats Wilder twice. Is that enough? No, 3 times now at this point. Is that enough to consider him like one of the greatest heavyweights of all time, or like can we call this the Fury era?
Yeah,
I think he needs to fight better opposition. I think he needs to fight. He needs to fight somebody who can honestly hurt him, not some bullshit mandatory like when he was fighting those 2 people in between when he fought Otto Wallin and then the Russian kid Schwartz. I honestly believe that he could have done a hell of a lot better selecting his fights, getting prepared for that second Wilder fight than that.
All right.
I mean, the Wallin fight was good, but that Schwartz fight should have never happened.
I mean, okay. Caller, do you think that Joshua has a better record than Tyson Fury?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Wilder is better than Tyson Fury.
Record.
I can't. Oh, record.
Yeah.
Well, record-wise, of course, his strength of schedule. Well, I guess you could say his strength in his record, his fight record, is not necessarily that impressive until he fought Stavern, honestly, in 2015, because that was like his record.
Wait, Wilder or AJ? Wilder or AJ?
Yeah, no. Talking to AJ. Is AJ's resume better than Tyson Fury's?
Oh, AJ's record versus Tyson Fury's. Yeah, AJ. I think that's a fight that needs to freaking happen.
No. Come on. Answer the question. What's the answer to the question?
Answer the question.
No, I'm just seriously. I'm just asking.
Answer the question. I think Tyson Fury hasn't fought quite the opposition that AJ has fought. No.
Okay.
It's a yes or a no.
Who said that? Who said
I like being more descriptive, man.
No. He already answered the question, guys. All right, but I do think that Fury beats AJ. Don't get all twisted. But I do believe that AJ has a better resume. You can't deny that. And the guy he unified 3 belts. Fury. What the fuck did he do? I mean, he beat Klitschko, all right, and after that, 3 fights with Wilder. Come on.
Yeah, but you have to remember,
I've got some
even when he beat Klitschko. He beat Klitschko and he won his matches with Wilder convincingly. That he still goes down as somebody who's held all 4 belts in the heavyweight division. Even though he's not undisputed, he's still held.
So does AJ though.
No, he hasn't held the WBC.
No.
He held 3, right?
That's almost 4.
Yeah.
All right. Caller.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Usyk has all those now. Huh?
Yeah, that's true. All right, we're gonna move on, caller. If you wanna jump in,
appreciate
send me a
man.
message. All right, take care. All right, people, don't forget, call in. Phone lines are open. StreamYard's open, but StreamYard I can only get in 6 people at a time, so it might get full later on. All right, so we have L Dog, and we have
I got some overrated fighters. I think the number 1 overrated fighter is Tank. I think when it comes to Tank Davis, people speak about him like he's the best fighter they've ever seen. Bro, Tank Davis has fought one good opponent, man. I don't really count Leo Santa Cruz because that dude had no business being at 130 pounds. They cherry-picked the guy for him to fight for the title. I'm pretty sure Leo was the only guy ever to go the distance with that guy. That guy had been knocked out by bums. So they got Leo there, and then they put him against Tank, who he never had a chance of beating. You know, so to me, that's not a good win.
Yeah.
It's an okay win. Tank Davis is one good win against Pedraza, who at 130, I'm going to be honest with you, was drained. He's looked much better at 135 and 140.
Yeah, I agree with Eldog. He is overrated by a lot of casuals.
And his defense is poor. He constantly gets hit with
Leo
clean
Santa Cruz,
shots.
man. Leo Santa Cruz was landing some good shots. Just that he wasn't hurting Tank. That was the difference.
So was Pedraza.
Yeah.
Pedraza and Leo were landing a lot of punches on Tank. But you notice with Tank, right? He wants to fight flat-footed guys, but he fights guys who don't have much punching power. Imagine if Teofimo was landing those same shots.
Completely different fight, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I think he'd get destroyed, man. I honestly think that Teofimo...
This guy is calling out Josh Taylor, man.
Hey, Teofimo versus Tank is Wilder versus Fury. And Teofimo is Fury.
The second one.
It's the second fight. Yeah, he's going to walk him down, and he's going to bully the shit out of Tank. He's too small, and he doesn't have the defense to fuck with Teofimo.
But he has the power. What if he lands? You know. By the way, not in the chat. Thank you for your contribution. He says AJ actually collected those belts. Yes, he did collect them. I don't know if you're implying that they were given to him. Maybe. Who knows?
I think he's saying like Fury just had to be Klitschko for them, whereas AJ, he actually took them one by one.
Well, that's true, man. Yeah.
Hey, but let me break the hearts of the BDA community. Another overrated fighter, Gennady Golovkin. Overrated as a motherfucker.
Don't say that here, man.
First time, the times he stepped up, he got exposed against Daniel Jacobs, a former cancer patient. He got touched up badly and was almost outboxed by him. Then when he fights Canelo, who moved up in weight, a little freckled ginger guy, he can't even beat him, dude. Like, he can't beat him. He couldn't beat him once. Now, let's take a look at when he fought Derevianchenko, got pieced up and won a robbery. When he fought Kasim Umar, he got pieced up. And, he did win that fight by knockout, but he got pieced up.
What do you mean
G
pieced up?
is forever a hype job.
You're exaggerating here, L-Dog. Pieced up. I see what you're trying to do here. Trying to create some controversy, which I do appreciate. But, there's a lot of Golovkin fans in here, man. So you're going to start...
Yeah, I think he's overrated, though. It's not to say he's a bad fighter. He's a good fighter. But, he's not a great fighter. And I think people need to have that perspective. Like, first of all, his title defense record is fake as fuck. It's about as real as Tank being a 3-division champion because he held the Reggie belt.
What about Canelo? Do you rate him high? Do you think he's a little bit? Yes. Okay, Jackson in the chat says he beat Canelo twice, close to his 40s.
He didn't beat him.
Oh, here we go, L-Dog, man. Come on. Okay, do you think Golovkin beat Canelo the first time? In your opinion. Forget about the fucking judges, what they said.
In my opinion, the fight was a draw.
Get out of here, man.
Nah, okay, he did beat Canelo that time, okay? Now, that was Canelo at his worst, man. He wore winning gloves.
He was green.
Yeah, he was... Well, I wouldn't say he was green. Bad performances happen. Whatever. When it got to that rematch, Triple G went from Mexican style to chicken style. That dude was running.
Yeah.
We're gonna get somebody else here because L-Dog's not making any sense. Aaron, are you there?
Man, listen, mate.
Yeah, man.
Yo,
All right, we're gonna have to kick somebody out later on, so we're gonna be switching between this and Discord, whatever. But Aaron, give us your take on all of this.
Are we talking about underrated fighters and overrated fighters? I think Benavidez is one of the most overrated fighters in the sport for what he's for the amount of for what he's done and the amount of hype he gets is like the boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the most overrated.
That's a good point.
Bro, I wanted to say that. I wanted to say that too. Hell yeah.
That's you know what?
And I think
he's hella overrated, bro.
Yeah, the eye test though. That's what people are. The eye test. He might give Canelo problems.
The eyes don't lie.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a.
I think one of the most underrated fighters, or will be one of the most underrated fighters, is the winner of Fulton and Figueroa. That's like a fringe pound for pound guy. The winner, that'll be like a top 15 pound for pound guy, and they won't get much recognition.
I think if Fulton wins, he's top 10. He's like number 10 pound for pound. He just beat 2 undefeated champions back to back, one of which was coming off a big win against Luis Neri. And he's also beaten other guys like Joshua Greer and Adam Lopez when they were undefeated. So this guy's a pretty seasoned fighter.
Wait, Aldo, do you know the future there? Do you know the future? You're talking as if you already won.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I got good evidence that just like Canelo's fights, this one's a fix.
Oh, shit.
Oh, come on.
12-hour film study coming next week.
Get the fuck out of here. All right.
I might have to withdraw my Figueroa bet.
Based on this shit. All right. Who else is in here? Who wants to give us another overrated fighter? Benavidez was mentioned. Oh, let's take a phone call.
Yeah, I got you.
Let's just quickly. 904. You're on the air. 904. 904. Go ahead. Yo. 904. Going once. Going twice. I think I hear some Morse code. Fucking creepy. All right. Go ahead, 150.
Yeah, bro. I got 2 fighters that are hella overrated. Deontay Wilder and both of the Charlos. Very overrated.
All right.
Very overrated.
Wilder, I agree. Charlos, we got to split them up here. We have Jermel and Jermal. Jermel.
They're both overrated, bro.
You think Jermel's overrated?
They twin brothers. They're pairs, so they got to be together.
They don't go. No. Let's do this the right way.
People are saying Jermel was top 10 pound for pound.
Jermel is not a overrated boxer.
He's not top 10 pound for pound, and people are saying he is.
Yeah, exactly, dog. Look, people calling him top 10 pound for pound, right? But what if Castaño beat him and won that fight? Would they have him top 10 pound for pound? Yeah. Hell no. I bet you they won't.
I thought Castaño won.
I bet you they won't.
Most people did.
I put money on that. They won't do that shit. Guarantee it.
Okay, but he's overrated if you have him in your top 10 pound for pound list. I agree with that, but he's not overrated. He's a good boxer, and he's not a bum or anything like that.
Nah, he's not a bum. I never said he was. He's a solid fighter, but man, he's overrated by the fandom for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at the fight he had against Castaño. I don't think he won that shit. He struggled like a motherfucker. I mean, he hurt Castaño a couple times too, but shit, man, he didn't win that fight, bro. No way. He didn't throw enough punches.
Yeah, I have.
He can't fight in the pocket, man. He's just like his brother. They both can't fight in the pocket. They're terrible in the pocket.
All right, guys.
They're not good inside fighters. All you really have is a jab. That's really it.
Let's take a phone call. 904. You're on the air. 904.
What's up, man? This is Jay.
What's up, Jay? What's on your mind?
What's up, BDA? I honestly disagree with the assessment that Charlo is overrated. I mean, it depends on which fans you're speaking to. He was the guy that was probably leaning towards being undisputed one fight ago, so that is pretty good. If anything, probably the biggest hype job in boxing, it would probably be no other than Triple G. I mean, come on, there's no other better candidate. Like if you're talking about as far as right now, like biggest hype job, it would probably have to be Teofimo. But I mean, then again, it's not really the fans that are big, and it's not really. I'm put like this: it's not that it's so many Teofimo fans bigging him up. It's the fact that there is just a very small minority of Teofimo fans that just make it seem like they're everywhere because of the stupid shit they say about him. But I know it's not that much saying about it. But then again, I have to mention it's probably Teofimo Lopez, or probably Gervonta Davis.
All right, when you're talking about Charlo, which Charlo are you talking about?
Jermel.
Okay, what about Jermal?
Jermal, I don't think he's all that rated, from being honest. He doesn't fight nearly enough for people to just mention his name like that. But as far as his rating, yeah, he can be a little ranked higher than what most people say he was. As a 154-pounder, he was pretty good. As a 160, he hasn't beaten anybody.
So he's overrated?
That's kind of where I stand on him.
Is he overrated at 160? Is he overrated at 160?
No, people. Here's my thing. It depends on where.
Bro, he struggled with Montiel. What do you? Who that? This battle rifle?
Yeah,
man,
is this battle rifle? I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's battle rifle.
All right, go ahead.
I knew it was battle rifle.
Jay.
Yeah.
Like, who's Jay?
Jay is my initial.
Yeah, but come on.
So basically,
sure.
So basically, Jamal, he is. How do I put this? Because we go back and forth on Jamal all the time. I don't know if that's homeboy, but we go back and forth with Jamal all the time. As far as what he's rated, he is just. How do I put this? He's a guy that if you put him in that category that says he beat every 168-pounder that is the best, then I think you're kind of overrating him. If you're putting him in a class where he's just like, well, no, he was a great, not great. He was one of the best 154-pounders, but he's good enough to be a guy who becomes a champion at 160. That's cool, and that's cool and fine and damn with me. But he hasn't really beaten anybody of really note. So it's kind of like, what do we really stand on him? One of the 160-pound division has been unlocked for a while.
Who wants to say something to Battle Rifle?
Look, man, the last fight with Montiel, bro, he should have got him out of there, bro. Everyone expected him to destroy that guy, and he struggled. You know what I'm saying? Like, just off of that win, he can't beat the top guys. When people say he can beat Canelo and shit like that, you think he's going to beat Canelo with that type of performance?
Yeah,
no way.
Come on.
And on top of that, he's not even fighting that much. That's why Canelo's so good, bro. He's beating everybody because he's active. These other guys are not active, bro.
It depends on what talk you've heard from the fans, apparently. What talk have you heard?
Say it again.
It depends on what talk have you heard from the fans. What have you heard from his fans? Are you hearing that he beats everyone at 160?
Oh, he's a knockout artist. He can beat Canelo and shit like that. Yeah, the typical shit, man.
That's what you've been hearing. Yeah, because if you're putting him in that card, then you're overrating him. But I don't think he's the most overrated. I don't think people talk about him all that much because he just doesn't fight simply enough, and his name is just not worthy of note.
Battle Rifle, is that what you think Charlo struggled because with Montiel? Do you think he struggled because he's not active enough? Or why did he struggle? Why did he struggle with Montiel?
Probably my personal opinion. He just simply hasn't been. He's reached a plateau where his skills are probably not going to get all that much better. So if anything, he downgraded.
Okay. All right.
That sounds right.
Yeah, we'll take another phone call. Battle Rifle, if you want to jump in, let me know, all right? I don't know if you have Discord or... just send me a message in the chat. All right, man? Take care.
On Discord?
On Discord, yeah. There's a link in the description. BDA, there's a group chat. And you'll see Bucho there, King Bucho, and send me a message. Or in the chat. All right, man? Take care. If you want to jump in. All right. We want Battle Rifle in here. We want some controversy. 661, you're on the air. 661. Go ahead.
Hey, King Bucho. My pick for the overrated fighter. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way. My pick is Terence Crawford and Boo Boo Andrade.
Oh.
They are hype trains.
All right, let's start with Crawford. What's wrong with Crawford, man? He just beat Sean Porter.
Crawford is a ESPN hype train, bigged up by ESPN. That his last fight proved it was a shamble. How could that put him over Canelo when we all know that was a fixed fight? Boo Boo is another shamble. a steroid user. On top of that, I have the proof on my channel. He's a steroid user. He also called Victor Conte his guru. Proof is on my channel, The Fighter Spirit 47.
What's your channel?
The Fighter Spirit 47. I'm in the chat. I don't know if you've seen my chat. The Fighter Spirit 47, and the E's are basically 3s.
All right. Well, check it out, man. All right, Crawford. So Crawford just beat Sean Porter. He stopped Sean Porter. Porter has never, ever been stopped. Why? I mean, come on. That's a good win.
Besides Sean Porter, who has he really fought?
Who has
to be number
Ricky
one?
Burns, a 3-time world champion. He went into his backyard to beat him.
He had the easiest.
Who else?
He had the easiest road to undisputed.
All right, hold on. Boxing Chief, go ahead. Take this.
So, you're asking who he's beaten. I said Ricky Burns is a 3 weight division champion, and he had to go to his backyard in England to fight him. How many people have done that?
That makes him better.
Oh, you didn't know that. That's right. You didn't know that. Let's move on to another one. Who's beaten Victor Postal as easily as he has? Nobody.
Who has beat Lomachenko as easy as Teofimo? Yet at the end of the fight, they would say, "What a razor-thin, close fight." Lying. We're
not talking about Teofimo. You're talking about Crawford.
Why are you talking about
Stick to the narrative.
Crawford.
Stick to the narrative.
Look, bro, with the Crawford, man, look, he stopped Sean Porter, man. I feel like a lot of people, they shit on his resume. I understand it's not the best, but with that win over Sean Porter and stopping him, that shit doesn't matter no more. It doesn't matter no more because he stopped Sean Porter.
Crawford is an overrated fighter, ESPN hype job. They just want him
and you
to
haven't backed your point yet. We're asking you to do so. I'm pointing out things to contradict you, and you've got nothing. Absolutely nothing.
No, he said that...
I have no interest.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
No, I don't. I'm not going to give you any proof to tell you what, my point is he does not belong number one pound for pound. The reason he's number one pound for pound is because in the USA, they worship black people. Black people are not oppressed. They're worshipped. It's called affirmative action 101. They need to keep the black man over the number one.
Okay. I'm not. Look. This isn't what this is about. Leave that for civil rights. Take that to the second renaissance. This is about boxing.
All right, hey, caller, man. Call back again next time, all right? Good call. All right, I want to hear more of this. Take care.
I appreciate you, man. Peace and love.
Yeah.
Check your channel out.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah.
That was funny. That was funny.
Hey, yo, Boston Chief, they always go back to race, bro. They always go back to race.
We talked about that last night.
Nothing to say. We literally talked about that last night, for real.
Hey,
yeah, we did.
He has a good point about the 140 division. When Crawford was at 140. That unification process he had was not that impressive, or was it?
Well, it wasn't that much better than Danny Garcia's. I mean, Amir Khan, we know it doesn't have a chin. All right, Lucas Matisse can't win the big one.
Indongo?
As monster as a puncher as he is, Lucas Matisse can't win the big fight. I mean, he barely beat Eric Morales the first time he fought him, and that was a 36-year-old junior featherweight.
I guess so. All right, let's take
with Crawford, he has 3 like A-level quality wins, and Porter's his third, but he has a lot of B-level wins, and he dealt with them like they are B-level. So he was kind of being held back because he only had 2 quality wins in Gamboa and Postol. But now with Porter, who I thought looked to be at the best of his career, like that's a peak Porter in my opinion. He looked really, really good. I'd say he's like proved himself, especially at welterweight. I don't really think he's a hype job. I think Spence is more of a hype job.
We're going to take another phone call, and I have to invite somebody else here. Multitasking, holy shit. 301, you're on the air, 301.
Hey, Bucho. As far as underrated boxers, I guess just to play a little devil's advocate, I'm going to pick my favorite fighter in a way. Like, I really expected him, to, like, demolish Donaire, but he went life and death, I mean, he overcame adversity. That's impressive, but I feel like he's kind of in the same boat as Triple G, where he's destroyed all these guys who are like kind of good, like Rodriguez and Jason Maloney, and he beat like an old Omar Narvaez at the lighter weights. But I do think he's like a little bit of a weight bully at his weight. So I feel like he really needs to step up and fight someone like Stephen Fulton if he could. Like move up in weight and do something drastic. Because if people are going to say he's top 3 pound for pound, just for a lot of people rank him, I feel like that's a little bit high for his resume.
All right, what do you guys think? Who wants to take on this call?
Yeah,
Who wants to take on?
I don't think he's a weight. Yeah, I don't think he's a weight bully because he's a 3-division champion, and he's also like a pretty small guy. What is he, like 5'4", 5'5"?
Yeah.
He's like
add in the fact that he won his second second weight class in less than 10 fights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's impressive, but I feel like he has the resources where a lot of these guys don't, Like a lot of these guys are really dirt poor, and they don't like have the ability to have these camps where they can cut down in weight real easily. I think he walks around like 125, 128, maybe like 130. But then I guess
he walks around. You said he cuts around at 135. He cuts almost 50 pounds.
Huh? No, I think he cuts around from like I think like 125 at least. Probably like 130ish when he's normally walking around down to 118.
All right.
He was a lot smaller. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really like sticking by it, I'm just like throwing that out there as food for thought. If you're gonna put him like super high on the list, like top 3, where you could argue he has the best fighter on earth. Just his resumes over the week.
Oh, we get it. You hate Asians. You hate Asians, and we get it. But
That's it.
All right, we're gonna move on. But
I like
we gotta move on. Good call, man.
Right,
good.
Cool.
Thanks.
Good
Interesting point. Inoue. Never thought about that. Get these hands. Thank you for your contribution. He says Jermell picked up 3 titles. He's top 10. Give that man his flowers. All right. I do think.
Name the third title.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Get these.
Did he say Mel? Did he say Mel or Maul?
Jermell.
Oh,
yeah.
Never mind. That's my bad. He's right.
He does.
I don't know about the whole comment, but he said 3 belts, and he does have 3 of the major belts.
But he has him top 10 pound for pound.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
Maybe he can. At the bottom of the list, he could maybe like squeeze in there, man. Who knows? What was I gonna say? Let's take another phone call. 347, you're on the air.
Hi, this is Fernando.
What's up? What's on your mind?
So, I mean, I don't know if you guys already you could have an overrated fighter in an overrated division, right? If that makes any sense.
Overrated fighter in an overrated division? Give us an example.
Well, okay, so let's take Keith Thurman, for example. Since he fought Louis Collazo, the best one he has on his record is Danny Garcia in 2017. And then when he did his, he came back and he did a video in a gym and he posted on his social media where he calls out Terence Crawford and he says that I'm still one of the best welterweights in the division. But the last notable win that he has goes back, Josecito Lopez is there, and Josecito Lopez gave him problems, but you could argue and say that Keith Thurman is a fighter that when he takes these layoffs, it may be somewhat intentional. Like, yeah, there is injuries, but he only wants to come back when there's a lucrative opportunity to get him back into training camp.
Okay, so you think he's overrated, or what's going on? I don't think he's overrated. I think
he is overrated.
Nobody talks about Thurman
for him
anymore.
To come back and say that he's still at the top of the welterweight division. Well, what kind of welterweight era?
That's just him that says that, though.
Not just him.
I think he's the only person saying that.
Yeah, nobody's saying that. He's saying that he can say whatever he wants, obviously. But I don't think people that are saying that this guy's this great welterweight anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think his best win is his best win is Sean Porter.
It probably depends.
Sean Porter has to be his best
depends
win.
on what people say after. It probably depends on what people say after he loses.
Well, I
how
never
many
thought
of
he
these
was that
guys are
great
going
to
to end up
begin
going
with.
in the Hall of Fame out of Porter, Crawford, Thurman, Danny Garcia?
There's a lot of people that's going to get in the Hall of Fame that's not probably worthy of being so, but that's just how the standard is today.
But today, have you ever heard of Ken Norton or Jose Torres?
Yeah, I heard of them.
Yeah, they didn't do much. They didn't do much, and they're both in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but then again, it's going to be a lot more people that get in the Hall of Fame in comparison to those days. Like, that's just not an everyday thing. That's only 2 people you're talking about.
Oh, I'm talking about what we can go down the list, but that's not what the show's about. But hit me up on Discord. We'll talk about it.
All right. I mean, yeah, I know the people like Floyd
Patterson.
And Floyd Patterson definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I don't know what you
Based
mean by
off
that.
of what?
Wait,
Based on who? He ducked Sonny Liston. He ducked Cleveland Williams.
he
He
lost
lost.
Sonny Liston, yet he fought him twice. I don't know what you mean, man.
You don't know your history, so like I said, hit me up on Discord because that's not what the show's about. But we'll talk about this.
Yeah, but he every time he went on a win streak, he would lose, right?
Okay, well, like I said, let the caller finish. I want to talk to you about this. That's not what the show's about at the moment. I'm not backing down from you on this. I think it's a good conversation for us.
We'll do this on a committee. Chief, we'll do this on a committee.
Man, I'm messing with you. Go ahead.
All right.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
sorry. We got a lot of people I fucked up, man. So, all right, caller. One last point, if you have any.
Yes. That was it. I just how the whole debate starts when like you talking about an overrated fighter, but it might be in an overrated era. So that's the only thing that
I agree with that 100%.
All right, caller. Thanks for calling. Call back again next time. All right. Take care.
You too, guys.
Oops. Yeah. Happy Thanksgiving, man.
Happy Thanksgiving. Have a good night. And I've said that on the show before that this is an overrated era of the welterweight division.
Oh yeah, I agree with you, Chief. 424.
Yeah, I
You're on the
agree
air.
with that.
424. 424. Go ahead.
Yes, this is me.
Who's me?
Yeah.
I am.
Brandon.
Oh, go ahead.
Brandon.
Let's go.
Let's go, Brandon.
I'd say the most over boxer right now at the moment is Gervonta Tank Davis. I don't know if anyone has mentioned. I personally think that like his fanboys, they make him out. They overrate him like as the greatest pound for pound punch. Like they say like he has amazing power. His amazing KO ratio. Like kind of like what Deontay Wilder fanboys. Said the same thing with Deontay Wilder that he has powerful KO ratio. Like I mean, he has proven his knockout ratio, but he hasn't proven it against top 10 opponents. I mean, it's easier to look like it's easier to have power when you're knocking out bums. Or
yeah, we get. So who disagrees with Brandon? Who disagrees with Brandon? Tank Davis.
If anything, I do put him. I do think he's a top pound for pound puncher, but a lot of people are going to hate me on that. But I think he is a pound for pound puncher.
But that doesn't make you a pound for pound fighter. I see where you're going with that, and I don't disagree. He knocked out Leo Santa Cruz, not easily, but that shot he hit him with. And even though Leo never really fought a big puncher in his career, he's known to be a tough guy. And it was a one punch that took him out after several rounds. So his power is there at a certain level, but that's also a natural bantamweight fighting at 130 pounds. To put in perspective, he's an easy two-sided sword kind of guy.
Oh wait, hold on. Caller,
Sorry,
go ahead. Caller.
I was just gonna say like his only best win is AB level Jose Pedraza. I mean, Ruiz, who is a natural bantamweight. The Argentinian guy, I forgot that Tank Davis fought. Cuellar, he's a natural featherweight. Mario Barrios. I mean, who has he beaten? First of all, who has he beaten? Who? It's someone who like Ali Akhmedov, who is like seven. That like who is like set, who fought like seven, who fought, and, or he also knocked out Gamboa, like an ancient version of Gamboa. I mean, who is Crawford's Crawford's leftovers. So I mean, people overrate Tank Davis so much, especially his fanboys. Like they say, like, oh, he has amazing power, but he hasn't proven it against like world class opponents. So yeah.
All right, caller. Thanks for calling. Good point. We're gonna discuss this further. Thank you.
I mean,
Have a good night.
a one-legged old Gamboa who he barely knocked out, and a blown-up bantamweight.
Yeah, that was a horrible performance. It took him 11 rounds to take out Gamboa. That was a horrible performance.
Gamboa is a Hall of Famer. What you mean, man?
All right, come on. All right, let's take
Wait, hold on. I smell something. Is that sarcasm?
Yeah. Let's take another,
that's sarcasm.
Let's take another phone call.
I'm being 100% truthful.
No. Okay. We gotta move on. Another call. Wild card call.
Fix sarcasm.
Go ahead, caller.
I do think.
Caller.
Hello?
You're on the air. Yes, go ahead.
All right. So this might be unpopular, but I'm gonna say Canelo.
All right. Why?
I think Canelo's overrated. Go ahead.
Explain to us why he's overrated.
I think Canelo could have fought some tougher competition if he wanted to, but every time he was at a certain weight class, he avoided certain guys. I believe he avoided Charlo at 154, and I believe he avoided Demetrius Andrade at 160.
He made Charlo an offer though.
And
yes.
And I believe he cherry-picked 168 because it's by far the easiest division in boxing, other than maybe cruiserweight.
You think that 168...
Also,
go ahead.
One last point.
Yes.
One last point. He wasn't too keen at going undisputed at 168 until David Coquet Benavidez dropped the belt. So, that's my opinion.
All right. Well, we're going to discuss this, caller. Thank you for calling, all right? Take care.
All right.
All right. What do you guys think about that? Canelo avoided Charlo at 154, Boo-Boo at 160, and I guess also Benavidez, from what I understand. What do you guys think?
Well, Mucho,
yes.
In the last close to 6 years, Charlo and Andrade respectively had only fought one world champion, while Canelo has fought 6. Okay, in the last 5 to almost close to 6 years. And they should be carving out their own legacy instead of demanding the big money fight. Okay, maybe they deserve it, but they also need to do something on their own, and they have it.
Right. Yeah, very well said. And I'm going to add one more thing.
Yes.
Charlo was sent a contract by Golden Boy and by Andrade's people to fight for Jamal Charlo to fight either one of them. Career high paydays, basically 3 years of fights worth $7 million because he barely clears $2 million a fight. So that's like.
It depends on.
Depends on what? Depends on the fact that that's more money than he's ever received in a night, and he'd turn down both of them.
No, I'm not talking about. First of all, I was talking about. It depends on which Charlo you're talking about, and I was talking about
Jamal.
the caller. If you're talking about Jamal, like it depends on what do you actually believe when it came to was he offered the fight beforehand, and some people believe that he was and he turned it down. Which it could. I mean, you have a lot of reason to believe that with the whole side of the street argument. But also at the same time, there's people that believe that he ducked Jermell, and that's also it depends on how far do you see the situation with Jermell being signed to Golden Boy, being promised the Canelo fight, and apparently didn't get it. So that was the reason he left Golden Boy. That's what Jermell says, but there's some people that think different. But like I said, it depends on which Charlo you're talking about.
I never remember Mel being signed to Golden Boy, and I'm not saying you're not telling the truth. That's just something that news to me that I didn't know. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it. Maul was sent Maul's people. I'll put it this way. I don't know if Maul ever saw the contracts or not, so I'm not going to accuse him of this. But PBC, Al Heyman, is the go-to guy that makes a lot of the decisions, and he was sent contracts from both Eddie Hearn and Oscar. And those contracts were never answered. Now, if Jamal doesn't know these were sent to him, then he needs to look at who's handling his career and make some executive decisions. Because these were career high paydays, they were never answered, and he says they're avoiding him. Okay. Yeah, mind you, that nobody, him, his management, or Al Heyman has sent contracts to Triple G or Canelo. They've just said that no one's ever challenged him. When two different promotional companies have said they both sent contracts out and then they were never answered. So a lot more smokes a lot more suspicious smokes coming from Jamal's side than it is from the other people.
Thank you.
And
that's what
like
I
I
said,
said,
overrated.
it depends on which side you believe, because it depends on which side you believe. Like I said, remember the like apparently you said he was offered the Canelo fight and turned it down way before he started calling them out. So like I said, it depends on like what are you willing to believe. Some people don't believe it.
I'm willing to believe that more than one person had a Golden Boy. Hang on, I'm willing to believe that more than one person had a Golden Boy witnessed the fact they sent a contract over to PBC and PBC didn't answer it. Mind you, that PBC didn't answer the contract that came from Top Rank to Danny Garcia to fight Bud Crawford. So there's a very big common theme here, and that's that PBC doesn't answer contracts from other people. That when and Danny was number one contender for Bud's title at the time, and they still didn't answer the contract. So what side do I believe? I believe the fact that there's a lot of smoke coming from PBC about nobody wants to fight their fighters, yet their fighters aren't answering legal, legit challenges. When someone stands there and said, I called a person out, I don't care what that used to mean back in the day. If you're sending a contract, that's a challenge.
That's no longer a secret. I mean, you already see people like Arrow and Leo, and I mean, that's no longer a secret. It's just when we're talking about Jamal, it's this like I said, like he might be.
Bottle. You're breaking up, man. You're breaking
like I said,
up.
like that's no longer a secret.
All right.
Okay, it's not just me because I can hear better.
Yeah. Bottle Rifle, you're breaking up, man. You're breaking up.
Everybody's supposed to carve out their own legacy, I believe. And maybe if he didn't take the fight, well, he went on to fight Golovkin twice. And now that he has moved up and Charlo got a belt at 60, he's not fighting Golovkin. So, I mean, make it make sense, right?
Yeah,
one last thing. The way he looked against Montiel, he looked like utter garbage. So don't tell me that this guy's at the level where he should be calling out other fighters to make that one big payday.
Well, Gonzalo.
Exactly, Gonzalo. That's what I said.
On top of that, Charlo's people haven't been on record as sending a offer to Triple G yet, or to Canelo, or to Boo Boo, or to even Harada at that. So if they're not sending contract, they have a belt. If they're not sending contracts out to anybody, how's he being avoided?
You know, these guys don't fight often, and just imagine they take that big payday, and like some fighters are doing now, they get that money after the Canelo fight, then they fucking what do you call it? Not resign. They quit. They retire. They retire. So imagine these guys only fight like once a year, like the Charlos. They get that big payday. They lose. You think they continue fighting? No. So you know what they're after, the money.
Yeah. Well, guys, happy Thanksgiving. I got to go. I don't know everyone on the panel tonight. I do know 150, and but the one that want to talk to me about Floyd Patterson, hit me up on Discord. I'll be happy to talk to you about that. But in the meantime, you guys have a happy Thanksgiving.
That was me.
That was or was not you?
All right, Boxing Chief.
That was
yeah. Is Boxing Chief? Hit me up on Discord, buddy. All right, I look forward to talking to you about it.
All right.
You guys have a good night.
Boxing Chief. Go ahead. I think, okay, whatever. Guys, let's take another phone call. By the way, if you're just joining us, you can call in and let us know who you think is the biggest boxing hype job of the day or of the time. Whatever you want to say. 386, you're on the air. 386. 386.
Yo, man, my bad. I will get Discord. I'm just sitting on my computer right now. And I really wanted to get on. I really wanted to get on Boxing Chief because he's being a little arrogant tonight, just a little bit, and I disagree a lot. But is Battle Rifle still on here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm
Battle Rifle. You from Jacksonville? I'm just curious.
No, that's where my phone to keep saying because I got it from here.
That's the area code.
I'm in Orlando right now.
But yeah, you're in Orlando? Near Winter Park?
Yeah. Winter Park, no.
But yeah,
that's all I'm giving for right now, Orlando.
But yeah, no, I want to say something about the Charlos. First of all, I don't consider them hype jobs because like nobody even takes them serious anyway. Jermell lost to Costanza. Like, they're good boxers, but they're nothing special. So for anybody to say Canelo's ducking them is out of their fucking mind. Canelo would ice both the Charlos on the same night, and he could probably get a hat trick and ice Andrade too. Canelo beats all those guys on the same night. So I don't know why people are saying, like, I don't think the highest of Canelo, but he's not ducking the fucking Charlos. Like, get the fuck out of here. Triple G would ice all the Charlo. Like, those guys, I mean, you guys didn't see Mel get fucking pieced up by, what's his name, Costanza or Castano?
George Costanza was his name. Yeah, I get
shit out of Jermell.
All right. We got Battle Rifle. What do you think about that, though? Why would Canelo avoid a guy like Charlo who struggled with Montiel?
Why would he avoid him?
Jab.
Well, isn't that what you think he did, or?
No. I said it depends on what you believe with the Charlo situation because he was talking about 154. I don't think he's ducking Charlo now.
I'm talking about both of them.
Well, before.
Both of them.
He's just like, well, huh?
Do you believe he dogged Charlo at any point in his career?
I'm not. Like I said, I'm really not sure. When it comes to the 154 situation, Charlo got there like a little later. He wasn't popping until like a little later. If I'm talking about Maul was there, but like I said, I don't really know the situation. Like I said, according to Janelle, that he was supposed to be promised a Canelo fight, which he never got, which is the reason he just decided.
You're breaking up.
Canelo sent him a contract, didn't he?
Hey, hold on. Let me answer that because I'm the one who called in about that.
Why did he send him another offer? When you send somebody a contract, you send them back a contract, and you find out the details. Somebody could probably educate me in the chat. I don't know if that's official, but that's what I've heard. That Canelo, the Charlos did turn down a Canelo contract, probably on behalf of Al Heyman.
Dude, nobody's going to turn down a Canelo contract. That would be like your highest payday. But he probably turned it down for a good reason.
Wilder turned down a contract with Joshua for millions, like $120 million. What are you talking about? This happens in boxing all the time.
Good point.
Caleb Plant turned down Canelo's first time because he tried to do like a 3-month camp or something. So there's probably plenty of reasons why he turned it down.
But that's my point. He renegotiated the contract, sent it back, and they figured it out. That's how business works. When you send a contract that's really just an offer, it's really an engagement to do business. You look at the contract, you send it back, and then you send it back again, and you fix things up, then you iron it out.
Okay, well, for one,
you need more money.
For one, you made a silly comment earlier when you said, how can Charlo try to challenge Canelo when he got pieced up by Castano? One, that's the wrong Charlo brother. That's the younger one. And two, Charlo did better against Deverchenko, the big one.
We're talking about when they were at 154. We're talking about when they were at 154 because Canelo was at 154 when they were at 154.
Well, Canelo was a different fighter back then. So I don't even know what's the point.
What are you talking about? How is that silly? That's your silly opinion because they were both at 154, and a lot of people were saying that Canelo was ducking those bums at the time, which I mean clearly he wasn't. I mean I just explained that to you.
Well, let me ask you this: what would be a tougher challenge for Canelo at 154, Liam Smith or Charlo? Well, I'm not even sure if he fought
they'd probably both be the same. I think Canelo would probably beat both of them.
So Liam Smith is on the same level as Charlo, really?
Charlo's not on any great level. Maybe he's a marginally better fighter. I mean, we just saw how. I mean, he just lost the.
He already beat Liam Smith, though.
In a real world, he just lost his belts to. What's the dude's name? I can't even remember his name. Castano. He fucking got the shit beat out of him. Got the shit beat out of him.
No, but that's the thing. Castaño is actually a good fighter. Like, I don't think Canelo will fight a guy like Castaño because he's a threat. He would fight a guy like Caleb Plant who has no power.
So Canelo probably would have. But
do you know anything about Castaño? Do you know that he beat
fighter? What does that say about Jermell?
Bro,
you know he beat Earl Spence in amateurs. He's a good fighter.
Canelo fought Lara when no one would fight Lara.
And he lost that fight.
No, he won that fight. He
didn't.
He lost.
He won.
Lara is a better opponent than Charlo.
Every elite fighter Canelo has fought, he either lost or he robbed him.
I thought Canelo
beat Lara. Lara fought so defensive and negative. You cannot give the win to.
Yeah.
And they landed. No. Lara didn't win that fight. But you're right. I'm not a Canelo fan. I just stated that. I think he cherry picks.
Let me ask you a question.
But he did not. Lara didn't beat him.
Can I ask you a question?
Triple G.
Triple G?
Yeah, go ahead.
Triple G. So the second one, right?
Yeah.
Which a lot of people felt like Triple G won. So does Canelo have any impressive victory on his resume where he clearly won?
Against B-level opponents.
Cotto.
Exactly. The second Triple G
I watched
Cotto, Jacobs, Smith.
I watched up Cotto.
Nah, Cotto gave him a good fight.
Wait, but clearly won.
But that's one of Canelo's best wins, that Cotto fight, because Cotto is a certified Hall of Famer, and Canelo did beat him legitimately. Canelo did never... I mean, you can go to the second Triple G fight at ringside. 94% of people either had Triple G winning. Half of the 94% had Triple G winning. The other half had it a draw. 6% had Canelo winning. If we're going to use common sense here, Triple G won that second fight. Everybody at the fight agreed. Just because he backed up and used a different style and jabbed his head off and beat the shit out of him in the late rounds, that doesn't mean he lost because he fought differently.
So Canelo,
I mean, people
Canelo arguably lost two
Canelo
fights
fought
to Triple
better,
G.
he won.
And you know what's funny? That's not even that's an older Triple G too. So Canelo, in other words, doesn't have a real good win on his resume.
I mean, he does, like, objectively, but...
An old Cotto is what you brought up. That's sad.
He wasn't...
You see,
like
if
34,
Canelo...
35. What do you mean? Go ahead.
Canelo's overrated, he might be slightly overrated, but then Triple G's underrated. And none of the fighters now wouldn't want to fight him, and they're not fighting him like a Charlo and Andrade, because they know if they fight him, their careers are over. Because they know they're going to lose against an old man. That's great. He's a great man. Triple G's underrated. And a lot of people don't see who he fought.
Let me ask you guys a question. How should we judge fighters? Based on their resume or eye test or both?
It's a combination.
It's free will, man. It's a combination.
Yeah. It's a combination.
Okay, because I don't like it when people just dismiss certain fighters because, who has he fought? Well, you could tell when a certain guy just has the goods. Triple G, before he fought Canelo, let's be honest, he really didn't fight anybody, but just by watching him, you could tell he was that guy, right?
Yeah. He's still that guy.
He had a record-breaking middleweight champion run. I don't know what you're talking about.
You can't say that.
I mean,
he dominated for a whole decade.
The fighters he could fight, and then after that, in his older age, he even beat better fighters. I mean, Danny Jacobs, Sergey Derevyanchenko, and he did beat Canelo twice. So that's 4 incredible wins at the age of getting close to 40. And so I don't think Triple G. I think
Jackson.
I like Triple G. I like Triple G, but he had a what-if career.
Still got a belt. He's still got a belt. He's got 2 belts, I believe. Then he's gonna fight for a third one. So basically, what I'm trying to say, aside from the Canelo fights, he's been champion all along ever since he came to America.
Yeah.
Are we actually counting the IBO?
The what?
Well, why not?
Gonzalez.
Say it again.
Look.
Are we counting the IBO? I thought he only had the IBO.
No, we're not counting the IBO.
He has the IBF. He has the IBF.
IBF.
Look, this is my point.
Count the IBF.
So look, I don't think
IBF, and he's fighting Murata for another belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is my point the whole time. I don't think Canelo's a bad fighter, but when people say he's the pound for pound number one, when I look at him, I don't see the best fighter in the world.
Who would you have ahead of him?
Oh, I agree 100%. Usyk is number
Other
one.
than Usyk,
I mean,
that's the only person who's debatably ahead of him.
And I'm not even just talking about Usyk's resume. I'm talking
Triple
about
G
skill.
is debatably ahead of him. Even in
I'd
his
say-
40s.
What?
I'd say Loma is more skilled than Canelo. He just fights at a way higher weight class than he should be. Loma should not be at 135. Who else?
Yeah,
I think
Loma,
Crawford.
definitely.
I think Crawford has more skills than Canelo. Just
Yeah, I'd put Cross. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think that maybe
his resume still
definitely Loma. I put
looking at
Roman
the resume.
Gonzalez up there.
All right, we got too many fucking people. Too many. All right, so I don't know how we're gonna do this because it's getting out of control.
I'm gonna hop off. Give me like 2 more minutes, Bucho, because I gotta dip anyway.
Go
Give
ahead.
me like 2 to 5 more minutes. Let me cook for a little.
All right, cook.
But yeah, I say Roman Gonzalez. Like, if you're going to be a fair pound for pound list, I would say Usyk, Roman Gonzalez, Lomachenko, and maybe put Teofimo just because technically he has a win over Loma. But they need to rematch that fight and get that shit squared away.
Josh Taylor.
Josh Taylor, yeah.
I agree with the Usyk and Roman Gonzalez. I think Chocolatito best inside fighter in boxing, hands down, in my opinion. He's like a mini Roberto Duran.
Really good.
Yeah.
Slipping punches on the inside and shit. Yeah, bro, he's a boss.
He's more like Arguello, you know? Like,
Shakur
Well, he's
Stevenson.
Nicaraguan.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I don't know about
150.
styles.
Stevenson.
It's, you know, a lot of people. It's like you mentioned right now. If somebody did, if you were to bring Usyk down to like another fighter size, for example, like Canelo skill for skill, you think somebody said that this guy's better than. It's hard. It's hard to do that because when you do that, shit changes. Smaller fighters throw more punches. Bigger fighters throw less. There's different styles like the counter punchers. There's guys that box. There's guys that fucking come in and try to rip your head off. There are pressure fighters. So it's a mixed match. But then when you go up and when you go down in weight, the amount of punches a fighter throws, you can't expect freaking a Chocolatito to if I make him big to throw the same amount of punches. Therefore, he's not gonna fight the same. And the same goes for a higher weighter bringing him down.
Gonzalo, it would be totally different, man. Like you're totally right.
Totally
like
different.
the body mechanics, the fighting style, it would be totally it's the same thing. Like if you brought Tyson Fury down to like Roman Gonzalez, who would win in that fight? Fucking Roman Gonzalez all day. They're the same size.
Just look at one
so
thing,
like,
for example,
but you can't.
Jackson.
But like you
When
said,
you had
you can't really.
When you had a Canelo at 54, which was probably dehydrated, he threw a lot more punches. Now that he's at 68, he's throwing far less. Therefore,
Now he's more of like a high guard catch and
not
shoot.
the same Canelo at 68, right? That's I'm talking about the same fighter. Just imagine other fighters, tit for tat. That's all. Sorry for cutting up.
Yeah, well, I think Bivol is a very skilled fighter, and eventually, when he gets to prove himself, he will be on the pound-for-pound list. I have no doubt about that. That guy is the total package. When it comes to footwork, combinations, counter-punching, Bivol is the fucking goods. And I do think Crawford is one of the best pure counter-punchers I've ever seen. I mean, do you see that counter-uppercut he hit Porter with? I mean, though he was zipping those. I mean, he's a great counter-puncher, Crawford.
I think Stevenson is on that list.
I agree. That's the perfect example. When somebody mentioned Triple G, you said it, Jackson, when he was taking a step back. That's why he was doing it, to gain the proper distance, and that's what Crawford was doing. He takes that step back in order to gain the proper distance, especially because his arms are longer than other fighters. He's only 5'8", but he's got like a 72-inch reach. So he needs to take that step back to get the correct distance on his hooks and his uppers. So, I mean, and then you mentioned Triple G, and I just thought about
once
that
he gets
too.
the timing, it's fucking, he is dialed in. You know who he reminds me of a little? Salvador Sanchez. Like, I don't want to go that far, but in terms of just, like, counter-punching ability, do you see that, because I know you're a big Mexican fight fan, do you see that little comparison at all? Strictly talking counter-punching with Salvador Sanchez and Crawford?
Little bit. I mean, yeah, Salvador Sanchez got hit too, where you're operating in the pocket, exchanging punches, and the other guys, he's bringing it to you, but you're also bringing it back, and then you're pretty much like winning the exchanges against a fighter that's trying to like beat you on his best day, and in the end of the day, he's besting these guys. So I mean, it just remains to be seen who he fights next, because there's still a lot of the same questions that were still to be answered with Terence Crawford. They remain. The same were kind of answered, but the same ones that we've always wondered, they're still there. So it was pretty much like a lateral move. I mean, he did beat a lateral move in the sense of of his greatness. Was it a little like, does he improve a little more in people's eyes? Yes. But what I'm saying is a lot of the questions that we still had, that we had all along, are still there. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. The thing I have is I still think Spence is a bad matchup from...
Sean Porter's overrated too, man. Sean Porter's like a Danny Garcia. They say, Sean Porter, he's a tough motherfucker. He's a tough motherfucker until he wasn't. This when he quit. He quit. He fucking had war on his gum shield. He came out with the after
No, Gonzalo. He didn't quit.
He co-signed that shit.
Come on, Gonzalo.
Well, he banged the canvas like 4 or 5 times, and he looked like he was staggered. But
like what the fuck is that?
Okay, he didn't quit, Bucho. He didn't quit. He didn't quit, but he had never quit before until now. Now, he had never been knocked out, but until this time, he was knocked out. So basically, he got praised for having a touch in and never being stopped. But this time, he got stopped, right? And all the big fights that he was ever in, he had lost. He was the guy that has no power. And I mean, if you're coming forward similar to like how Cambosis is gonna do, and you try to fucking tap a fighter to death, but you ain't getting the job done, then the other guy can punch. He's gonna knock you out because you're there for the taking. He's gonna wait till you land your 2, and he's gonna land his 1 because he ain't gotta like move. He's just gonna set his feet, wait for you to punch, get busy, then you're gonna counter and knock his ass out because the dude can't hurt you. So that's basically what I'm saying. That Crawford, there's a lot of the questions that were before, they still remain because Sean Porter is overrated.
Who do you think will win between Crawford
Jackson,
and
let me just quickly read some super chats that I've been waiting for a long time.
All right, Nicholas, go ahead. My bad.
Nicholas, thank you for your contribution. He says Teofimo is gonna swallow a lot of tzatziki this week. That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you for your contribution. He says Jaron Ennis, he's beat no one. He's overrated. Well, Jaron Ennis. Well, we'll see. It's too early to tell. Nicholas again.
Rare Beat's not going to be happy about that one.
Hold on.
No, I'm not.
Nicholas, thank you for your contribution. He says Sean Porter is not a quitter. He's a gatekeeper. All right. Did he quit or not? I mean, let's make it clear. Come on, guys.
No. Okay, let me say this.
He co-signed it.
He was banging
he
the canvas
with his dad, so he kind of did.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He was banging the canvas. He was banging the canvas because he lost his composure. There was going to be a 10-7 round and potentially a 10-6. He was frustrated with himself for being drawn into counter. Like, he was angry. He wasn't like quitting. I don't know why anyone would think that.
Come on.
No, bro, he didn't quit,
so
man.
His dad quit for him. How does this work? Like, he's the one. I mean, this makes no sense to me. He was not that hurt. He was still in the fight. He probably wasn't going to win because he doesn't have punching power, but he was still in the fight. He racked up a good. I mean, you could say he had like 7 rounds in that fight. If he got, if he ran for a round and won the last 2 rounds, he could have potentially won in a legit fight. So
he wouldn't have.
All right, Jackson. Like you're
he was down on all the cards.
Yeah.
What, Bucho? What?
Come on, man. Like, what are you saying here? If he wouldn't have gone down, he could have won the fight.
I'm saying, like, it's a championship fight. Like, he probably wouldn't have won, but he was not that hurt. And I'm saying that's Spence defeat because I think he edged Spence out.
He was fading.
And I think I think that kind of took away maybe a little of his his love for the sport, and he knew it's so political. And the way I heard him talk about the business, as they're just using guys. So I think maybe he quit. You know.
There's a difference between quitting and a fixed fight, because I think that line gets blurred nowadays. There's a lot of conspiracies. I'm not saying the fight was fixed. I'm saying that he made it to the 10th round. He had never been knocked out. He had 2 rounds to go, and even Bomac said, I think he's up. And when he told Terence Crawford, we believe he's up, Terence Crawford stepped it up, and all of a sudden, fucking Sean Porter got knocked out. A man that was believed to be like super tough and had always gone the distance. That's what I mean.
Well, Gonzo, if you saw in round 9, he timed him with that same uppercut, same exact punch, which was pretty good by Crawford, which was pretty stupid by Porter. He ran right into the same punch again. A great fighter never does that. So, I mean, that was really good on Crawford's part, because you could say he was setting him up. But, Gonzo, do you think he would have knocked him out like cold if that fight would have went on?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, there you go.
Probably.
But what I'm doing, but that's not
Probably. That's it.
All right, we cool.
Hold on. But that's not saying that he couldn't have adjusted. He couldn't have adjusted and got on the back foot like he did against Ugas and made it to the final bell, right? I'm not saying he would have won on the scorecard.
Jackson, did you see Sean Porter fading? Did you see him fading? I think it was a close fight, but I also noticed that Sean Porter was starting to fade. Did you see that?
He was. I mean, Crawford was coming on. There's no doubt, and I think Crawford was starting to take over, but it was still a close fight, and Porter's got that heart. You can't count him out, and I didn't like how the whole thing went down. Like, boxers don't go out like that, and it just it's fucking Kenny Porter's fault, man. But I'll hop off. Give me one more minute, Bucho.
But Jackson.
I need that Steve Kim treatment.
All right, but Jackson, let me ask you this question: are you giving Terence Crawford any credit?
Definitely some credit. He looked, like I said, I thought he looked like the best pure counter puncher I've ever seen. Like, besides guys like Marquez and Salvador Sanchez, he fires those counter punches. Like Gonzo says, once he gets the range, and once he's 3-4 rounds, he's got you dialed in, and he can he's very good at that. But that doesn't mean he can beat an Errol Spence.
Who can beat Errol? Okay, so you think Errol Spence is the number 1 guy in the division? You don't think anybody can beat him right now at 147?
I think Spence, Crawford, Ugas, and if Thurman comes back and looks a little strong, I think those guys all need to just start fighting more and figure it out. I think Spence and Crawford are favorites, but Styles makes matchups, and I just see I see Spence giving Crawford a lot of trouble. But thanks for having me on the show, guys.
All right, take care, Jackson.
Thurman is done. He's a non-factor welterweight.
Yeah, Thurman's retired, bro.
Right. He's semi-retired, whatever you want to call it.
He's retired.
The guys that you really have to say that are overrated, the guys that you have to say are the men that are like in their 30, 31 years of age right now, haven't fought nobody. The Charlos, all the Butzeves, the young guys, the Ryan Garcia and the David Hinges of the world. They might be overrated, but they still got some time to play with. In other words, you see what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. When it comes to Thurman, it's a completely different story. This guy, he had his shot. He had like 6 years, maybe 5 years, where he could have really established his legacy. You know what I mean? But he didn't do it. Too many injuries, layoffs. He had 2 big fights.
That's what happened.
He did get fat, and he had 2 big fights: the Sean Porter fight and the Danny Garcia fight.
And the Manny
Pacquiao. Yeah, you're right. The Manny Pacquiao fight. And he fucked that up. So
well, I mean, he did good. He made money, but he went inactive just like Pacquiao. Pacquiao came back before he did. Then he retired. Pacquiao. That was like he hasn't fought like in 2.5 years. This is Keith Thurman.
If he can't beat an old Pacquiao, he needs to retire.
It's gonna be 3 years before he fights again.
The young guys are gonna kill him because that's what he's. Well, unless he gets a Crawford and Spence fight, he can retire on that. But other than that, he's food for the young wolves. That's what I see.
All right, guys, let's take a phone call. 773, you're on the air. 773.
We're talking Hypejob. We're talking Overrated. Of course, it's Canelo.
Go.
By the way, happy Thanksgiving to all my comrades.
Happy Thanksgiving.
How are you?
Are you tripping, fool? Are you tripping, fool?
Go ahead, Kevin.
It's Karen from Chicago.
Yeah, that's Kevin, yo. Of course. That dude funny as hell.
Of course, it's Canelo. It's overrated. He's the pound for pound rated best fighter in the world, and he's picking off fighters he knows he can beat. He's number one on most people's list, and you see what he's doing. He's going to the weakest division. Now he's moving up again and fighting some dude. Just so he can say he beat another champion. Mangaboo? He's gonna fight some dude Mangaboo. This is it, man. Of course he's not gonna go fight Breedis.
Yeah, listen, Kevin, I'm with you.
Picking off the weakest link.
He is.
The biggest hype chap, overrated in the motherfucking world, you bitch ass haters. You bitch ass haters know better. It's Canelo. He's the one with all the hype because he's the pound for pound face of boxing. He's going around picking and choosing, cherry picking all these weak ass champions. They're weak ass champions.
I am a warrior.
All right, Kevin. So, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say Kevin's preaching.
Kevin's preaching, man, like always. All right. Well, listen, I don't disagree with you.
Gonzalo, what you got to say to that? I know Gonzalo's got a rebuttal. What's Gonzalo got to say to that?
No, you can make a case for Usyk and maybe somebody else. I don't know, but I can't disagree. I'm just gonna say that. Oh yeah, Canelo's the greatest thing ever. No, I mean there's other great fighters too, man.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, man. They're trying to say this
what's
dude, best of all.
What's your prediction for Teofimo and Cambosis?
Oh man, you know Lopez is gonna win. Cambosis. Lopez is gonna beat that dude.
All right, he's not that excited.
Hand around.
All right, Kevin. Anything else?
I'll leave you guys to it. You have a blessed Thanksgiving on this wonderful holiday. Amen.
All right, man. Take care, man. All right.
When are you gonna take predictions, Mucho, for the Cambosos Lopez fight?
Mañana. Tomorrow.
Okay, mañana.
There's
cool.
There's an open panel show tomorrow, I believe. An open panel. Anybody can join. And I guess we'll take predictions down tomorrow. Well, why should we really take predictions? I mean, why?
No. Dude's getting knocked out, man. Cambosos.
So you want to predict like a knock, like the round? We can do that shit. See who gets the
early knockout. I think he gets knocked out in 3 or 4 rounds.
Who's saying that shit?
He gets knocked out in the 3rd.
Who's joking around?
I got 7-round TKO, man. Teofimo gonna knock his head off.
All right.
Cambosis is just built different. He trained with Pacquiao, guys. Come on.
Oh, come on, get out of here.
Okay.
Cambosis got rocked by Lee Selby, 126 pounder, man. Teofimo gonna knock his head off once again.
You sparred with Pacquiao, but sparring is not the same as an actual fight. You got to remember the different size gloves and the headgear. When you get punched with sparring gloves, 16 ounce, even 14.
He's drained, he's injured, his wife left him. It does not
feel the same as the smaller gloves with no headgear.
People are saying to chill out.
Cambosis' only hope is to take it on the inside and try and get a stoppage late in the fight. Because Teo's gas tank, he's going to be drained. I guarantee you he's going to be drained as fuck.
He did mention that. I think that's why he keeps saying 1st round knockout, because I don't think it goes well.
He might be drained, but that won't pay a dividend until like the last quarter of a fight, which I don't think
and he's injured.
He's got good timing. He's explosive, and the other guy's gonna come and throw a lot of punches, so he's gonna be right in Teofimo's wheelhouse. And Teofimo's basically just gonna counter punch him, catch him, and most likely knock him out like he did Comey. But I think he'll knock him out like around the 3rd.
Hey guys, in the chat, there's this guy called Dolmite. He says how Canelo cherry picking when he's fighting 3 to 4 times a year, way more than any of the fighters that he's so-called docking. And then he also says some fans act like the Makabu fight will be Canelo's only fight next year. Is that a good point though? I mean, he's fighting 3 to 4 times a year. Can he like squeeze in or can he have like
all these guys could fight 3 times a year if they're fighting certain opposition. David Benavidez, I think David Benavidez will run through Caleb Plant too, and he'll definitely beat Caleb Smith and what's his name, Billy Joe Saunders. Yeah, he'll break Billy Joe Saunders. Guy, he's soft. As soon as you hit him, he folds.
Interesting. That's a good point. So let's say that you're right that Benavidez goes through these guys that Canelo also beat. What does that tell you about Canelo? Does that diminish his accomplishment? Probably.
No, it doesn't diminish. It doesn't diminish the accomplishments because if any other fighter would have had the chance to garner all the belts, they would have, but they never did. So he did something that the other fighters didn't do in 11 months. Now he can move on and do other things. Okay, I agree.
I agree with Gonzalo, bro. That's what if shit. I gotta see David do that shit, bro.
No, but
what I'm saying?
Wait a minute. Hold up.
That's a fact.
I gotta ask you. First of all, why do I hear my echo?
Yeah, hey, hold on. Rare Breed, hold on. 150, you have echo. Like, we can hear ourselves in the background when... I don't know, you need to fix your...
All right, hold on. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna come back.
All right. Go ahead, Rare Breed.
Okay. So, I was saying, if Canelo's the only one that has the power to do things like that, he has the politics on his side. Like, people can't say no to Canelo. He's Canelo. Like, he gives you the highest payday and other, things that come with it. David Benavidez is a high risk, low reward. You're not gonna risk your championship to David Benavidez. But Canelo, like, come on, like, I thought you guys should know this. You've been watching boxing a long time. Would you rather fight? Would you rather fight a young, hungry lion like David Benavidez and risk getting your ass whooped and get nothing out of it, or get the highest payday with Canelo?
I think some guys are overrating David Benavidez a little too much, man. He could have knocked out Kyron Davis. He couldn't stop him. He couldn't knock him off his feet. They had to throw in because that dude was like a 4-pounder, man.
Kyron's a tough kid.
He got dropped by Ronald Gavril.
If you watch that fight with Caleb Plant and Uzcategui, yes, Caleb Plant won that fight. But if you watch towards the end of that fight, Uzcategui was starting to wear him down a little bit. David Benavidez would do that and more. He would overwhelm Caleb Plant and get him out of there.
We'll see. Okay, well, maybe.
Bro, Benavidez struggled with Gavril.
Gavril? No, he didn't. I remember the first time.
The first time.
Struggled.
The second time, though. Also, he's a different fighter now. How old is David? He's 24.
Yeah, he's like 24,
25.
He's young. He's really young. Like he's getting better.
He's got. You know what? He's got all the. He's got all the. I don't know if the word. He's got all the qualities of a fucking weight bully. He does. Yeah. He's young.
He is a weight.
He can't make weight no more, and he's really not that heavy-handed. But he overwhelms fighters with pressure because of the size. Look, he couldn't fucking knock out Kyron Davis off his feet, and he's like 190 pounds in there in the ring, and the other dude's like a blown up 54-pounder. Yeah, obviously you're big enough. You're fucking just like a 5th grader beating up a 3rd grader. They are gonna throw in the towel, but he couldn't knock him off his feet.
All right. We get the point. I want to get back to that, Gonzalo, but let's take a phone call. 619, you're on the air. 619.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, what's up, man? What's on your mind?
You guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I just want to say that I think, I understand you guys watch boxing and you guys definitely look at boxing like a different way, but I think we got to start looking at boxing as at a business point of view. Because nowadays, it's like, that's the only reason why I have Canelo's pound for pound, because of the business-wise, that fight, because the money. Not only does he have the USA backing him up, but he has Mexico backing him up in a way. So, I mean, if you look at it, there's no other fighter that has I mean, Usyk, don't get me wrong. Usyk has the skills. I mean, he pretty much outboxed AJ. I mean, boxing-wise, he's definitely more skilled than Canelo. But, I mean, I think we have to start looking at the boxing as a business. And Canelo's a businessman, and boxing, he's the one that has pretty much going to give you the good payday. I mean, if you fight Usyk, you're not going to get that much money.
Are you saying Canelo's career has been he had help? Is that what you're saying? And therefore he's not a
Canelo's been I mean, Golden Boy somewhat helped push him in a way that to get to the top, but I mean, it's just not that. You know, it's like when you have like another whole country backing you up, it's just hard to not have him at the top.
Gonzalo, jump in.
I mean, he's definitely taken the Mayweather route. He definitely took the Mayweather route. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not helping when other guys, when you have other fights that you can make happen, but everybody's just going for, they want the Canelo payday, and
right.
So I mean, that's that.
Who has Canelo avoided, in your opinion?
I don't think it's much avoided. It's just that I don't know how can I put this? Because I mean, yeah, you could say he avoided. I think like definitely Golovkin, the third fight.
Yep.
It's a fight that it's gonna bring a lot of money, but it's also gonna be like an actual fight because Golovkin, he's the only guy that really gave Canelo trouble. He's the only guy that really went out there to fight. Everybody else just went there to look all nice and get their name out there, and at the end of the day, just have that check signed by Canelo. But I think Golovkin, I don't think he's avoiding Benavidez. I think Benavidez, I mean, personally, if I was Canelo, I would take the Benavidez fight because, yeah, Benavidez is hungry and all that, but that's where that experience comes in because, I mean, he hasn't been on that big stage like Canelo. So, I mean, that's also like a benefit towards Canelo, not Benavidez.
All right. Well, good points, caller. Call back again next time, all right?
All right. Thank you, man.
All right,
take care.
All right. What do you guys think about that? Oh, actually, let's get back to Gonzalo. Gonzalo, are you there? He's probably not there.
Yeah, what's up, Bucho?
Yeah, you were talking about Benavidez being a weight bully. Yeah, he is a weight bully, I guess, but isn't that the reason why he causes a lot of guys problems? And someone could argue that that's why Canelo's maybe avoiding David Benavidez. You know what I mean?
Fair play. That style with the pressure, because he's a weight bully, because he's bigger than the other guys, and he got a lot of weight behind his punches. I mean, it might trouble Canelo, but Canelo got a good chin. He implements the high guard. He got good waist movement. I don't think those type of punches that couldn't knock out Kyron Davis are really going to rattle Canelo. He might get hit with a few flashy pitter-pat combos, but in the end of the day, if you're sitting in the pocket, which he's kind of flat-footed as well, and he's tall, Canelo's going to get back to the body. So I don't see him necessarily overwhelming Canelo to the point where he wins, because if you're there to be hit back, man, he's going to get countered too. And this is what fighters are avoiding. So I don't think he's just going to sit in his laurels and go to town on Canelo and not expect to do something defensively to take care of himself too inside of the ring.
Yeah, but Canelo, sorry, Gonzalo, someone might say, like, well, he does, like, just because he couldn't knock out Davis with like a punch or something doesn't mean he doesn't hit hard. And, you know, that's he breaks you down. It's a little bit like Spence Jr. He's not a one-punch knockout artist, though, but, you know, he does wear you down, and eventually, you know, he destroys you, man. Can Benavidez gain respect, though, just by hitting Canelo? The arms?
He can gain his respect, but Canelo is defensively sound, so he can work counters off of his head movement and lateral, like, upper body movement. So, like, it's not like Canelo's going to run away. He's going to stand there, and he's going to counter him, because Benavidez squares up, and he has poor footwork, and he doesn't actually put much behind his punches except for body weight.
You know
I like to call him the Butchelt. The Berchelt of 168.
The Berchelt to 168. Go ahead, Gonzalo.
They used to say, and I'm not just saying that's the only one that I can think of, but you know how Julio Cesar Chavez had the ability to keep his eyes open inside of the pocket? I think Canelo has a little bit of that too. When he's got that high guard, he's keeping his eyes open. So, I mean, yeah, Benavidez throws a combination. Canelo's going to pick his shots too in those exchanges. And so what I'm saying, yeah, he can overwhelm you, but that will play into Canelo's hands. Because when you're staying busy, like, for example, Cambosis, and you stay a little bit busy too much against a guy that can crack, and I'm going to say he cracks to the body, Canelo's going to get his get back. And that's where he's also going to get worn down too as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
Good
agree,
point, man.
Gonzalo. Yeah, David Benavidez is a fucking tree, man. Canelo's just gonna light his body up the whole night, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like the best way David can beat Canelo is pushing him back, kind of like how Triple G did. You know what I'm saying? That's the best way he can do it, but I don't think he can. You know what I'm saying? Canelo's got a tough chin, and his left hook, man. Canelo's left hook is amazing, bro. He's got the decisive left hook. Like when he throws it, you think it's going to the body, but he brings it up top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look. Can I respond?
Yeah.
All that is true what you guys are saying, but unlike the last three people Canelo fought, there's gonna be some coming back to Canelo. So yeah, he's gonna be hitting to the body. He's gonna land everything he wants. But David Benavidez is a dog, unlike Billy Ho Saunders, Caleb Plant, and the other UK bum he fought.
Well, Plant did try though. I mean, he did let his hands go.
90
seconds. Oops.
Yeah, but Caleb
Plant has
Plant
no power.
is pillow fisted.
That's a good point.
He killed David Benavidez. I promise you that.
Yeah, I agree. That's why we want to see this fight. I don't give a shit about
Look,
Makabu.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like I think Canelo should beat David Benavidez. I have him as a favorite, but it's an interesting matchup. Like that's what the pound for pound guys should be fighting. Like the fights that people want to see. You know.
Yeah.
But it's whatever. I guess I'm asking for too much.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think if they fight, man, I think David can give him a tough fight, but in the end, I got Canelo winning. I think he got it in the bag.
Exactly, and financially, it makes all the sense. Like two Mexicans, you can do it on Cinco de Mayo. That should make a lot of money.
It's a great fight. I mean, I don't know if anybody disagrees with this fight or is against it. I don't know what to tell you, man. This is probably the best Canelo. Only some people are talking about Canelo and Bivol and Beterbiev. I don't know. I want to see him against Benavidez.
I mean, didn't most people believe that before he went on his little coke binge or whatever? David was probably the best fighter at 168. I know they had
I
would say so. So this would be the first time in history where a guy went undisputed and didn't have to fight the best guy in that division. Interesting.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying.
What are you saying? What are you saying, man? Come on.
Hey, but all I'm saying is Canelo, he went undisputed, but there's something unfinished. There's some unfinished business.
So it does seem like it. Yeah, go ahead.
And the reason that I believe he don't punch that hard, but he's still since he's big and's got a lot of weight behind his shots, he's still bamboozling his opponents. Because if you look, he was kind of slapping against Kyron Davis. And if you look, the other fight he had, I believe, with Durrell, look at how he lands his shots. They're with the inside part of the glove. Because he's just looking to, I don't know, put the pressure on you. But he's not really trying to, knock you out with one shot, where he lines you up and fucking tries to knock you out with one punch.
Durrell's not a bad fighter, and David destroyed him. Durrell beat, Canelo's Yildirim, that guy Canelo fought easily. I thought so.
Who cares?
I
thought he was losing that fight.
Well, but he did win, so whatever. Still, if Canelo can fight Yildirim, I know he could fucking fight David Benavidez.
Well, I guess, listen, guys, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to wrap it up. We're going to wrap it up. Tomorrow we have an open panel show. So, yeah, let's wrap it up, guys. Thank you for joining us. Good debate. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
All right.
Peace.
Peace out. All right, everybody in the chat. Let me just give you the results of the poll we just had. I can only write four options. I could only write four options. Biggest Hypejob, Canelo, Jermall, Charlo, Crawford, and other. And Jermall Charlo took it with 58%. Jesus. All right. Well, guys, thank you for joining us. Don't forget, tomorrow we have an open panel show. Anybody can join via Discord. So if you haven't joined us on Discord, go ahead and do so. The link is in the description. Discord. You can download the app or use it on a web browser. I'm trying to look for the link here. Fuck it. Anyways, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, guys. Take care. Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with
Amok PvP, thank you for your contribution. He says, where's Tank Davis' name at? He was in the other category. But thanks for the super chat, man.
I'm disappointed in everyone. Totally fucking disappointed in everyone.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it, man. I'm disappointed in everyone.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
He just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.